Yes, you'll be surprised to hear, perhaps, that I haven't always been the loudest supporter of union demands, but tonight that all changes. Gary Smith, the General Secretary of the GMB Union, has said three things that sound rather a lot like common sense to me. So, in a warning to Keir Starmer, he said the following. 1. Voters will not accept economic destruction to achieve net zero. 2. Abandoning oil and gas too quickly would be a disaster. And 3. That the blind rush to net zero is harming those who can least afford it. In fact, he went as far as to say, we've cut carbon emissions by decimating working class communities. And what did he point to justify these claims? Well, green levies for a start. They add about £170 a year to every household bill, a modern-day poll tax, he said. Lack of green jobs for working-class communities. Yes, we've been promised by successive governments, government after government, that there will be all these green jobs, there will be this green revolution. But no, he says they are severely lacking. And what I want to know is that even if you think it's absolutely essential that we decarbonise our whole economy immediately and show the world our noble example, how much will it all cost? Because I think our leaders have been a little less than open about the costs, and I think we need to know them and then let the people decide. You see, when you ask the public, are you in support of net zero, the majority do say yes. But when you ask whether they want to ban petrol and diesel, that falls to less than half. When you ask whether they want taxes on airfares, that falls to 37%. Yes, Benjamin. Increasing fuel duty, 27%. Restricting meat and dairy consumption, well, a measly quarter of us would like to see that happen. And then, of course, there's the cost of replacing your boiler, ripping out your hob, re-insulating your home. Energy-intensive industries, either they or the taxpayer will have to stump up the cost of decarbonising. I note we're all stumping up the cost £500 million to fuel Tata Steel's green transition. And there's also the small issue of shutting down our gas grid, which would cost a total of £65 billion, and that's according to a National Infrastructure Commission report. Now, in 2019, when the UK became the first country to legally commit ourselves to reaching net zero, the Treasury's best estimate of the cost was between £1 and £2 trillion. Now, I think we can guess where that cost will fall. I say, let's be honest about the cost and let the public decide whether... Right, Darren, do you agree with me?
Oh, my God, I absolutely agree. That's like music to my ears, Emily, every single word. Listen, I actually think I'm more of a Marxist than Benjamin Butterworth is, because I agreed with everything that the GMB Union leader said there. And actually the defence of the working class, the defence of Labour, is what the Labour Party is supposed to be about. You know, it wasn't always for the champagne swilling flights like you wouldn't believe every 2 minutes, like that over there. And it's a shame. I think it's a shame. So I really commend hearing voices like this of old Labour that used to speak up for the workers of this country, Emily.
Well, Leo, I'm interested to hear your opinion on something that Gary Smith, I think his name is, said. He said that net zero is a middle-class debate.
It absolutely is. I mean, the middle classes can afford to have a few more quid on their heating bills or pay for a ULEZ charge. But these charges are actually really regressive. They're the opposite of what left-wing socialists should be putting through. If the ULEZ was scaled in accordance with how much you earned, then maybe it would be a bit fairer. But at the moment, the burden falls heavily on the shoulders of the working classes.
And could it be that the cost of not achieving net zero outweighs the cost imposed on us now to achieve it?
Absolutely. I mean, the exploitation of fossil fuels throughout the Industrial Revolution has led to just insane advances in longevity and living standards and the luxury that we
No, but
enjoy.
could the cost of not achieving net zero outweigh, all our efforts?
No, I think the cost of not achieving it. We're basically chasing whatever a paid scientist is telling us we need to chase. So I don't believe any of it. I think
hate all of this negativity about net zero. I mean, Emily, you just listed there just a list of bad things without actually talking about the positives of renewable energy. Renewable energy is actually the cheapest form of energy at the moment. If we can build nuclear power stations, if we can build onshore wind, if we can store energy property, build enough electric chargers for electric cars, living can actually be cheaper and better for people. And these are things that can happen. inaction. It is government inaction which is holding us back from the benefits of a green transition. And I hate all of this negativity.
What do you say to the green jobs point, though? Because Gary Smith said it's all well and good talking about green revolution and all the jobs that come from renewables, absolutely fantastic. But he says we're not actually seeing those in working class communities. Instead, we're importing our energy infrastructure from countries like China, countries like Indonesia. Do you understand that point?
I understand the point, but if you talk to other people, they will say completely different things. Like if you speak to the mayor of Tees Valley, the Conservative mayor of Tees Valley, Ben Houchen, I think now Lord Houchen, he talks about how the green jobs revolution in the northeast of England has been providing lots of jobs. And
what
Simon
kind
Clarke's
of jobs?
Jobs building wind turbines and gigafactories for electric cars, opening up in the northeast of England. So there are opportunities associated with the green transition. We've just got to be bold enough to take them.
And one word to Benjamin.
Only one. You're wrong, would be what I'd say. The cost of not doing this is far greater than any of these individual costs because it's the end of the planet as we know it. And that's already evident in parts of the world. Many of those are in the Commonwealth.
When are you next going on holiday?
Tomorrow.
How are you getting there? How are you getting there?
I'm getting there on a flight to South Korea, Darren. But that is the real answer, and this is where this fella has a point, which is that it should be an advancing technology to make things like cars, electric cars, to have airplanes that are much less polluting. That is the real answer. And because we are a highly educated workforce, I think we can lead the world in that. And I think you are being
We are leading the world in it.
I agree with you on that, Benjamin. It is advancing technologies that will make this world greener.
Well, yes. Anyway, still ahead, Leo's going to explain how the scourge of racism is now sadly impacting the dog community. But first, let's get your latest weather.
That warm feeling inside. From Boxed Boilers, proud sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello there, good evening. I'm Jonathan Vaughtry, here with your latest GB News weather forecast provided by the Met Office. There's increasing threats of some heavy and thundery showers as we move into the second half of the weekend. For Saturday evening, though, generally lighter showers on the cards for southwest England, Wales, generally pushing towards Northern Ireland into the early hours of Sunday morning. The cloud building across the southern two-thirds of the UK, so it will be a relatively mild night here, particularly across the far south of England, high teens holding up, but across the far north of Scotland, a much chillier night, 2 to 5 degrees Celsius quite widely, if not some frost in rural spots. That cloud and rain will continue to steadily progress its way northwards. The Northern Isles, parts of the Highlands seeing a good amount of sunshine, but we'll start to see those heavy thundery showers pushing into southern England, Wales as we head throughout the day. Some local disruption and flooding is possible. Generally, temperatures will be a notch down compared to Saturday for the southeast, thanks to an increased amounts of cloud, but maybe slightly higher for parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland. Into Monday, this cold front will be swinging its way through. Behind that, we'll see some fresher air filtering in behind it. So still quite muggy and mild ahead of it, but eventually seeing those fresher conditions swing in. But on the cold front itself, again, really quite unsettled with heavy showers, thunderstorms and rain in the mixture, and quite a blustery day for all of us on the whole. There's further unsettled weather as we head throughout the rest of the week as well, and low pressure looks like it will be staying in charge. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.
That warm feeling inside. From Boxed Boilers, proud sponsors of weather on GB News.
Still ahead, Benjamin's going to be winning friends and influencing people by saying hard-working elderly people now enjoying the fruits of their retirement are actually disgraceful perpetrators of economic immorality. You're with the Saturday 5, live on GB News.